We both love you because you're old school, and we referenced that you won in 2003. You just need a bit of pugnacity, to borrow a phrase from Brian Burke, and that's why, again, all bent over shape. Even the Konechny thing a couple months back that you were rather vocal about here in Leafs Nation. I totally get it. Come the playoffs, you need to have that sandpaper. I think Achari's going to bring that to a level. I think Ryan O'Reilly's going to bring that. So, what's your feel on this Maple Leafs team? Do you think they have enough not only to beat Tampa, but actually do something substantial this spring?
Rosie, you would know this. Like, if you put, for example, the best example I have from my is when Georges Laraque went to Montreal. Okay. Montreal was a passive team. They get Georges Laraque. Does that make them a tough team? I don't think it makes them a tough team. You're damn straight. I know when George is on the ice. I pay attention to that. Like, I don't want really to run into that. But at the same time, it doesn't change the team. But then we could think of some other teams like, geez, I think of all the years. I remember playing against the Ottawa Senators, and it's like every single guy in that lineup, whether it was Mike Fisher, I mean, Chris Neal loved to drop the gloves and whatever, but like you can go Kelly, like all the guys, they would stand up for one another and they'd get involved. And they would, to me, like, you don't even have to have someone that necessarily fights, but just if you engage with anybody on that roster, you know that you've got guys that are all coming at you. That to me is team toughness, right? So that's the big thing. Like, I'm not promoting saying, oh, if this team goes out and gets, Ryan Reeves, they're all of a sudden a tough team. I don't believe that. If you don't have a tough team already, one guy's not going to change that. As far as the Leafs go, and I think this is what you're asking about, where they're at with some of that. I like some of the pieces they have. I think that there's a big thing in the league right now, and we'll see if the Leafs have it and some other teams. There's this, I feel like there's this epidemic of not having game managers anymore. And some teams have it, some teams don't. And what I mean by that is mostly your bottom six players, but sometimes it's in your top six as well. Just looking at the scoreboard, realizing where you're at in the game, how to close a game out, what needs to be done in this situation. I think a lot of the league now is, let's score a goal. And that's great. That's what I want to see. I love seeing high scoring games. But I think the more guys you get, specialty players, this guy kills penalties, this guy wins faceoffs, this guy blocks shots. When you get specialty players like that, I think it makes you so much more difficult to play against. I think that's what Noel Acciari does. I think that they have, I'd like to see him even add another veteran piece. Just, it doesn't cost much for some of these guys. Tyler Mott deal to New York, I think, is an incredible deal. I knew the Rangers loved them from last year, but those are the intangible pieces. There's not a ton of game managers out there anymore, and the ones that are, man, they're of a lot of value.